use the layout view. I think it's extremely helpful. It's a tool that will allow you to see information about what's going on your page and also focus in on specific components that you want to spend time on. I think learning the shortcuts for the builder are extremely useful. And if some shortcuts or sequences of shortcuts are a little complicated, if your keyboard supports any form of macros, oh my goodness, use those things. It's awesome. Build options, in particular, commented out in dev only, are extremely helpful when building any Apex application. Every single Apex application could benefit from those build options. And then finally, if you just want to learn more about the metadata that's being stored, or you want to try to write a dynamic solution based on the metadata that Apex has already gathered, well, sometimes you can query those dictionary views to figure out and say, hey, what buttons do I have on this page? What regions do I have on this page? How, maybe based on that metadata, I might decide to do something different with how my page is rendered. And with that, we have a couple minutes for questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, we do. I should have mentioned Lino Schildenfeld, another one of our Oracle Apex experts, has been answering your questions as we go. I think that we do have a couple of outstanding questions. Before we go there, I'd like to ask you all to keep SkillBuilders in mind for your Apex application design or development needs. You need extra people to help, perhaps even just a design review. Many of our customers ask Tyson and the guys come in and just take a look at what you're planning on building before you bake it in, and perhaps miss a best practice or something. Of course, Oracle and Oracle Apex administration, hosting your Apex apps in the AWS cloud or migrating to the cloud is something we can help you with. So, Lino, do we have a couple of questions in the queue?
Yes, we do, Dave. They've been few that I'm probably going to skip because we don't have enough time for them. So I'll go with the one that are more relevant to the topic. And please, anyone that we skipped, if you want to reach out to us after the session, we're happy to answer any of them. Right, Tyson, a question that came in when you were showing an advisor. There was a question: is there like, can we export the results of it?
I don't know if you can export the results, but if we open up the advisor real quick for page 1, we should be able to see. And perform the check. It is a type of report, and I think the information is kind of cached in a collection. Page is undefined. No. I don't need it. That might actually throw an error. I'm not sure. Answer is I'm not sure, but it is stored in a collection. If you could, it would be at the bottom of this page after it's done running the check. And if I scroll down to the bottom, whoop, it doesn't look like I can. But I think the results are stored in a collection. You might be able to query that collection information.
Perfect. Thank you. There's another one. Is there a way in Page Designer to see if any other pages are in the app are calling that same page which redirect to the page option?
Yeah. So that goes down to branches, right? So that would be what I would do is I'd go to the Apex dictionary, I'd look up branches, and I'd also look up buttons, because those I guess branches, buttons, and lists, right? Those are the 3 main ways in which we navigate. I would start there and see if there are any references in those columns that you could query. So now you kind of hit on why I mentioned Apex views. You can query those views to answer very specific questions that the Apex team maybe hasn't built a UI for.
Perfect. And I don't know if you have time, people asked about how do you actually connect the shortcuts in Apex to special keys on a keyboard?
Yeah, so my keyboard is, I have a Razer Black Widow But it has software called Synapse. I just open. I think do I have it open here? Synapse. Yeah. So there you go. I have Razor Synapse, and so you can see there's Apex development here, and I know this doesn't look very good, but basically I can customize this, and so I can click on a key, and I can then set up a macro here, and I'll say that I want to set up a macro, and then I can pick a macro that I want. So I have create page and edit region as macros that I've created, and if I look at those macros, I'll get out of here very quickly. Macros, create page. So this is what it does. That's my macro for creating a page, right? Control down, control / control CP. It does that in that order.
That's
perfect. And I think we can stop now because there were a few that were like, how do we write dynamic actions that have a limit of writing probably JavaScript code in them, which we can take offline.
Yeah.
And a few more. So I think that's it.
Keep in mind that there is a dynamic actions tutorial out on SkillBuilders.com. Look for training and then free tutorials, and you may find the answer there. So lots of Apex tutorials in SQL and administration. So
awesome. Well, I think that's time. And if your question did not get answered, we'll try to reach out with you as best we can with some feedback on your question. So thank you so much for asking them. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. And I hope you're all staying safe and healthy.
Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon.